Okay, so today we're going to install the Quickset Kevo. This is actually the second one that I'm going to install. The first one went in and I learned a few tricks along the way that I'm going to share with you. So here's all the parts, and a Phillips screwdriver is all you need. But there's a few extra things that might make it a little bit easier. So if you've got some masking tape or any kind of tape really, that would be good to have. Have your key handy that you want to use to rekey the lock to, so all your locks match. If you have a magnetic screwdriver, that's even better. It'll make it easier to put some of the screws in. If you don't have a magnetic screwdriver, if you have a little bit of Vaseline or some grease or something, I'll show you how you can use that. And then also, to remove the existing deadbolt, a cordless screwdriver will speed up the process. So I'm going to start by taking the deadbolt off. Now this is a sledge deadbolt, and different kinds of deadbolts will have different screws that hold them on. Some of them will be concealed and you'll have to take off this lever piece and then pop off the cover. But this one, they're exposed. So all you have to do is just basically take these screws out. And that's the end of the deadbolt. Take the latch part out. And then there's also a plate that the latch part goes into that you can take off and switch with the new one. So let's start with that latch plate, and there's a couple different lengths of screws that come with it. You'll want to use the longer screws. And what I'm going to do is, the manual says not to use a cordless screwdriver, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the torque way down so you can see the clutch is slipping there, just to speed up the process here on the video. So we'll put this latch in first. Okay, then next what you're going to do is, the latch that comes with the lock is adjustable. And what you got to do is figure out how far is the hole back. In this one it's the shorter setting, and the word up is stamped on this part. So you can just stick that in like that with the up going up in the hole, and then use these two other screws that come with it. And again, if you're gonna not use a regular screwdriver, just make sure that you don't put too much torque on these. Okay. Then next what you'll do is you'll actually take the lock. Now depending on the size of the hole that this is going into, you may need this adapter. In this case, the sledge hole was a small one and this doesn't fit in there. So I'm just going to take the new Kevo lock and stick the wires underneath the latch, line up that D part, and stick the lock in just like that. Now, the reason why you might want to use the tape is to get the lock to stay on there when you're putting the screws in. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of masking tape and just stick that lock against the door, and then just tape it down temporarily so that as you put the screws in the back, you don't push the Kevo lock back out of the hole. Then take the mounting plate, and depending on the thickness of the door, there are different size screws. If you've got a standard door, you'll use these gold colored ones. And basically what you'll do is stick the wires through this hole, and slide them in there, and then just line up the screws with the lock. And just keep that bracket straight. And next what you'll do, you should be able to turn the latch freely. Like that. You can take your tape off now that the deadbolt's in there. Next what you'll do is you'll take the lock itself on the inside, and there's a wire here that hooks up to this other wire that comes from the bolt, and there's also a connector that has the word up on it. So you'll start by sticking that one in upward like so, and then the other connector, all you're going to do is basically stick the two connectors together, tuck this underneath, make sure that the wires are staying so that they're not going to get pinched. Line up the D slot. You can turn that turn piece a little bit. And that's basically it. So now that that's aligned, you can turn the latch, and what you'll do is you'll take your magnetic screwdriver with these other little screws that come with it, and the magnetic screwdriver is good because the screw will stick on the tip. So you can stick that into the hole and just tighten that down like that. Now if you don't have a magnetic screwdriver, what will happen is the screw won't always stay on the tip. It can fall off. But what you can do is just take a little bit of Vaseline, wipe it across the screw head like that, and what that will do is it will actually keep the screw on the tip of the screwdriver as you stick that in. And then just tighten that down. It doesn't have to be really tight. Just snug it up good. It's not a real big screw. And that's basically the installation of that part. Now what you'll do is you'll then take your battery pack and hold down the program button and drop in the battery pack, and you'll hear it beep, and then hit that button one time and it will go through a handing process. So now it knows what side, if it's a left-hand door or a right-hand door, and it's done with the handing. So you can put your cover back on at this point. That part's done. And then the last thing I'm going to show you is how to rekey the lock. So what you'll do is take the keys that came with the lock, and let's say you want to match this now to a different key. Like you install, like in my case, I installed another lock I want the keys to match. So basically I'm going to take the key that came with it, turn it 90 degrees, insert the learn tool, take out the key that came with it, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the house key that I've always had on my front door. And now that it's in learn mode, what I can do is take the key, stick it in all the way, and rotate it. And now what I've done is I've taught the Kevo lock the same key as my current front door. So now I have my front door, my Kevo lock that goes into the house, and this other side door all on a single key. And you can see it's lighting up, and I'm done with the mechanical installation. Hopefully that was helpful.